Hello everyone, my name is Roya and today is Top 5 Wednesday. Today's topic is books you DNF'd. In other words, books that you did not finish. Top 5 Wednesday was created by Lainey at Ginger Reads Lainey, whose channel I will link below, and I will also link to the Goodreads group so that you can start your own Top 5 Wednesday. So I have exactly 5 books that I can think of that I've DNF'd in recent years. So here we go. I'm going to go with in order from most recent to most long ago. So last week I DNF'd Magona, and I actually got 2/3 of the way through it before deciding that it really was not for me. And that is basically because this book just can't decide what it is. So basically this book is about a girl who is really, really sick, and she has a strange lung disease, and she can't breathe properly, and she's not expected to live to adulthood, pretty much. And it turns out that her symptoms are actually symptoms of being from another world called Magonia, and basically she's from the sky, and she has a bird in her chest and all this weird stuff. So basically, though, it starts off like a contemporary novel, which I don't particularly enjoy. I'm not a big fan of young adult contemporaries. So it's basically about a sick girl in a hospital, and I'm kind of like, okay, well, I thought this was going to be like more of a fantasy book. But then, 1/3 of the way through the book, it actually starts dealing more with the fantasy aspect than the contemporary aspect, because she finds herself in Magonia. And then I really liked the ideas of this world, and I really would have liked it if the book had focused a lot more on this world instead. So like everyone has a bird inside their chest that like sings, it allows them to sing certain things into happening and all this stuff, and they live in ships in the sky, and it's really pretty cool. But the fact that it didn't even get to that aspect of the book until halfway through, or 1/3 of the way through, made me not that into it. Like, I didn't care enough. And then 2/3 of the way through the book, the thing that really made me just put it down was the fact that they start talking about the environment and the pollution from Earth into the sky, and it's making sky whales like die, and it like painful deaths and all this stuff. And I was thinking, like, okay, so you're trying to get people to care about the environment, but you're using a completely not real thing to do it with. Like if she had been from underwater, for example, and some pollution from Earth was causing actual whales, like in the ocean, to die horrible deaths, then I can see that working. But instead, they're kind of like, oh, well, there's a pollution from Earth and it's hurting us, it's hurting the sky whales. And it's like, wait, what now? So that just really did not work for me. So even though I had already gotten 2/3 of the way into this book, I just had to put it down. The same day I put down Legend from Marie Lu. I got a couple chapters into this and I just really did not care. I could not get into it. Mostly I think it's because the world building is just, I don't know, they just don't build the world enough at the beginning. They kind of, so you basically see like people's homes being raided, but you're kind of like, why? What kind of government system is this? Like, why is this? Because basically the cardinal rule of a dystopian novel, in my opinion, that seems to be followed by most young adult dystopian novels, is that they, right at the beginning, show you what is wrong with the world, basically. But this one really didn't. It kind of just showed like something's wrong with the world, but we don't know what it is, and I just like, it just didn't make me care at all. I may pick this one back up at some point. I'm really not sure. If it weren't a library copy, if I actually owned this book, I would definitely pick it back up. Since it's from the library and I have other library books to read and I have to take it back soon, like I just didn't see the point in continuing. Next book that I DNF'd was a couple months ago, and it is The Wrath and the Dawn. And I really did kind of like that book, and I would have finished it if it were my own copy and not from the library. But unfortunately, it just really, it didn't make me care again. And I feel like part of that is because it didn't deviate enough from the original source material, so that kind of just made me, I don't know, it made me just not really want to read anymore. And I got at least 1/3 of the way into it. So one day I may pick it back up, and I definitely would have if it were my own copy, but I don't know, I guess at present it just didn't work for me. And about over a year ago, I DNF'd A Queen of Angels by Greg Bear. This I do plan to pick up again at some point because it is not technically my own copy, but it's my boyfriend's. Um, I'm not really sure what it's about because while it was pretty intriguing, it was also really slow and didn't quite. It took forever to introduce me to the plot, but I may pick this one back up at some point. In fact, it's probably what I'm going to read for the TBR challenge of read a book you DNF'd. Unless, of course, this one is. This is Dima Geophone Mont by Oliver Plachka. And I DNF'd this after just a few chapters because, not because I didn't enjoy it, but because it was like 5 years ago, I was in school in a German immersion program where we couldn't read anything in English or talk in English or anything like that. And just because we were in class all day and we had tons of homework, um, I had already been reading books in German all month basically. And somehow I just really didn't feel like having to read this one in short spurts like while in school. It just didn't work that way. So there's a very good chance of my picking this one back up because I really, really want to. Because it's not a bad book at all. It's pretty good. It's just the fact that, reading in German is a lot slower for me than reading in English. And when I read in English, I read very, very fast. Those are the books my top 5 books that I have DNF'd. Thank you so much for watching. If you've read any of these books, let me know what you thought in the comments below. And I will see you again soon with another video. Bye!